We come from every walk of life. We're proud of who we are and what we believe. We are among the 200,000 people who work for Bank of America. What would you like the power to do?
Meet Ricky. This is his neighborhood. Creating a brighter future for Ricky and many other kids like him starts with giving them a safe place to play. At Edison, we're partnering with the Trust for Public Lands and other nonprofits to build parks in our communities that need them. Life, powered by Edison.
Today's Woman. I am your host, Vakita Poindexter, President and CEO of Poindexter Consulting Group. A certified management and human resource consultant firm, we are committed to providing the total human resource infrastructure your business needs to succeed in today's complex work environment. Today, my guest is Lynn Butler, inspirational speaker, life empowerment coach. Lynn is a trusted, certified life empowerment coach that focuses on getting results. As a dynamic speaker and coach, Lynn knows how to draw her listeners in and delivers not only an impactful but a changing story. Her Roar story delivers clear, concise, and actionable steps that encourages listeners to move from one place of defeat into a mindset of victory. Lynn is the CEO of Lynn & Company. She specializes in improving the quality of life mindsets through goal setting, increasing effective communication, and helping people to develop their personal roar story. Lynn is also the author of When the Vow Breaks. Welcome, Lynn, to Today's Woman. How are you?
Hello, Vakita. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here, and I am doing exceptionally well today because I am able to inhale and exhale.
Well, first of all, I am so curious as to know what this whole roar is. So before we jump into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in business.
Well, I am a wife, mother. I am a certified life coach, a graduate of American Public University. Go Volunteers. And I got started in life coaching because of several traumatic events that took place in my life at one time. And rather than lay down, roll over, and just give up, there was something down deep on the inside of me that I was able to tap into, and it created this energy, this roar that bubbled up, and I took that and it became my passion, and it's what I want to teach others how to do. I want to teach people how to roar.
Well, that sounds amazing. So I'm looking forward to developing my roar, personal story as well. So tell me, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I know that as a business owner, sometimes we've got to continue to work corporate America until we can make that transition. But it's my understanding that in the midst of this pandemic, you left corporate America. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
I absolutely did. I had worked my business as a side hustle for several years, but in the middle of this pandemic, with the world turned upside down, with corporations scrambling to get people jobs, with rampant unemployment happening, I took the leap and I said, I'm done. I left. And I left because I had to do it to save me. And sometimes we need to recognize that we may be doing a job and we're literally dying daily because we're dying for that employer, but we're not living for us. So I took the leap in the middle of a pandemic. Call me crazy, call me what you want to, but I learned how to do it and I can teach you how to.
Perfect. So tell me a little bit more about some of the services that you offer as a life empowerment coach. I mean, so many times, we think that, okay, that's the new craze right now, but tell me some of the services that you offer as a life empowerment coach.
Well, I offer grief recovery because as an individual, I have gone through traumatic grief, loss of 2 grandsons. I offer divorce recovery. Been divorced not once, not twice, but I won't tell you how many times. And I offer career crisis recovery coaching because when we are in the middle of a career crisis, we need tools and tips to help us maneuver through those things. Those 3 things have such a huge impact on our lives that if we don't know how to maneuver them, we can get stuck between the toilet and the wall singing a sob story. And I don't want anyone there because it's not a good or a happy place to be. I want people to have joy and energy and to walk in their authority and to sit in their strength and understand that they have what is needed to survive, but they just need to figure out how to pull it up. And I help you pull that up.
So let's talk a little bit more about that. I mean, we know that we're in the middle of this pandemic. I say we're in, 3 pandemics. Obviously we have a health pandemic, we have a social pandemic, and then we have a political pandemic. So let's talk about the first pandemic, the health pandemic, COVID-19, as better known as Corona season in my neck of the woods. So families are spending more time together. Husbands are spending more time with their wives. Parents are spending more time with their adult children. We become accustomed to being empty nesters. Tell me, how do you help these families navigate with spending more time together and not killing each other, so to speak?
Well, one of the first steps with that is you are on a journey of rediscovery of who you are as a family unit. Before, everyone was outside of the home. They were doing their own thing. And now we're forced to be home. So some of the things that I recommend are learning to have family game night, learning to garden, learning to do things as a unit, and also respecting boundaries for one another. We all still need that private downtime. We need that time where I can go sit in a corner and just read, or where I can take a nap. We have to work together as a family. But the key is when you have an issue, you have to communicate. You have to say what you mean what you say, but say it with respect. Respect your family's feelings, respect your partner's feelings, because that is what is going to get you through this time. It's not going to be easy, but I can't guarantee you this. I can give you a 100% guarantee on this. You will make mistakes, but it's okay. That's called caught being human. We all are. We all make mistakes. Apologize and move on.
No, I think that's good. I think that's so good. I mean, I personally try to find the blessings in every bad situation instead of wallowing in, I think women call it the woe is me to pity party, but don't invite me to attend. So I want to get into this roar. Right? So tell me, what is ROAR and how can I roar? Tell me what that means. What is ROAR?
Well, ROAR is an acronym for, the R is recognize your strength, overcome your obstacles, achieve your goals, and radiate confidence. And the first step in roaring is to recognize your strength. And a lot of times the very thing that we find easy to do is our greatest strength. but we diminish that strength because it's easy for us. For example, if you take an artist, they can take and they can put brush to canvas and they can create this amazing piece of artwork. But it's simple to them because they do it all the time. Where for someone like me, I have an issue with figuring out complementary colors, so it's not easy. But once you recognize what your strength is, then you can take that strength and use that strength to overcome the obstacles. And the obstacle could be something as simple as you not believing in yourself. But when you believe in who you are and how you were created, you can move forward to achieving those goals and setting those goals down into small, manageable, measurable steps, or SMART goals that I like to call them. And once you've done that, then baby, you can radiate confidence because you've accomplished it all and you've got it together. That's where Roar comes in.
Perfect. I like that. So kind of roaring with elegance, so to speak. Because when I think of roaring, naturally I think about a lion or a lioness. And you know the typical issues that we as women have to deal with, when you hear, the negative connotations that goes with women as far as speaking up, speaking with passion or authority. How do you help women to continue to do that in the time that we're living in, where it's not also viewed as loud, boisterous, things like that?
Well, the first thing is, if you study the posture of a lioness, most of the time that we observe them, they are either in a relaxed posture or hunting. But when a lioness roars, usually she starts in a relaxed posture. Her cubs are beside her. She's laying there, but she lifts her head and she will look and she will roar. She's not ugly or boisterous about it, but her point is made. She does it with grace and elegance. Her chin goes forward, her shoulders rise, and she lets that sound come forth to say, I mean what I say, and I mean business. Now, we can either do this comfortably, or if necessary, which it sometimes is, not always, I can get up and approach. That's what roaring with elegance is. It's understanding you have that power, understanding that you have that authority, but it's not always necessary to come at something so aggressively. You can speak and be heard, but you have to do it with authority.
Before we continue our interview with Lynn, we just want to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
We come from every walk of life. We're proud of who we are and what we believe. We are among the 200,000 people who work for Bank of America. What would you like the power to do?
Meet Ricky. This is his neighborhood. Creating a brighter future for Ricky and many other kids like him starts with giving them a safe place to play. At Edison, we're partnering with the Trust for Public Lands and other nonprofits to build parks in our communities that need them. Life, powered by Edison.
So I know that you talked earlier a little bit about how you got started, and there were some tragedies and things like that that took place with you, which propelled you to the position and where you're at now, helping women navigate through some of the challenges that, this thing called life deals with them. Tell me, when you were going through this, or even now, who were some of your mentors that you looked to, and how did you navigate through some of the, the challenges in starting your business as well?
Well, some of my mentors that I look to, I like to lovingly call them Spark Team. I have accountability partners in my life, and those women have permission to ask me the hard questions. And I believe we all need that. Someone that asks us the hard questions. I'm also a member of an organization called NAWBO. It stands for National Association of Women Business Owners. Those women mentor me now and will always be there to mentor me because of the wisdom, the strength, and the power that they have. Navigating through a divorce, death of 2 children, a foreclosure, death of my father, all within a year was breathtaking. Literally, it almost took my breath away. And that's when I came up with the motto, inhale, exhale, left foot, right foot, because sometimes that is all that you can do is to just breathe and walk, breathe and walk. But when you work with women who encourage you, who motivate you, and who mentor you, you can come out on the other side and then take those tools that you learned from them and use them to help someone else. The thing that makes my heart sing is when I have a meeting with a woman and she has come through and she has that aha, man, that feels so good. It's like you have given me a double dose of chocolate and vanilla ice cream with strawberries on top, and I'm just swimming in it because I'm so happy for her because she's feeling much better.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. A couple more questions that I have for you. We're living in a time now where it's all about women, right? We talk about diversity. We talk about empowering women. We talk about this is our time. Our time is now. We believe that if there's not a seat at the table, we go and create one. Tell me what your perspective is about the times that we're living in right now.
Wow, we are living in amazing times. We are seeing a female candidate for vice president. We are seeing women that are stepping up and taking leadership roles. We are forgetting that there's a glass ceiling. We've busted through it. We are kicking down doors. We are taking seats on corporate boards. We are making our voices heard. And what I want women to understand is you can have it all. Not at the same time, but you can have it all. You can have the job, you can have the family, you can raise the children, you can be active in the community, but you have to set boundaries. You have to know what day to do these things in. This is a phenomenal time to be a woman. This is a time to understand that, wow, I was created with all of this inside of me, and I have an opportunity to utilize it right now. I can't sit on this. I can't hide it under, as my grandmother used to say, hide it under a bushel, which was a basket that they would harvest fruits and vegetables and put them in. I've got to use my talents. Perfect timing.
So I like that you said that as women, we can have it all. Because we've been taught that you can't have it all. So in the process of trying to climb the corporate ladder, start your own business, raise your children as a result of the pandemic, homeschool your children, be a good wife, mother, sister, aunt, employer, how do we as women find that balance that we need to maintain our sanity as we try to achieve all that there is that we want to achieve?
Very good question. I'm going to give you just two tips. The first tip is appointments. We schedule appointments in our work life. We also need to schedule them in our personal lives. Set an appointment for yourself at least once a week. And that appointment could be to take a bubble bath, to read a book, to get in the middle of your bed and watch a movie. But set an appointment because you've got to have balance. The other tip that I want women to understand is that no is a complete sentence. You don't have to give a why, you just say no. And let a person sit in that. When you say no and then you remain silent for a few seconds, it makes them a little bit uncomfortable. And in that discomfort that they experience, they understand that you mean business. So those two boundaries, no is a complete sentence, and setting appointments, that will help you navigate all of the things that you have to do.
Okay, well, I think we all need to learn how to say no and let our no be no and our yes be yes. I think that's a challenge for women to understand. You did mention an organization, the National Association of Women Business Owners. What made you decide to be a part of that particular organization?
National Association of Women Business Owners is an advocacy group, and the women advocate for things that are important. Equal pay, for women's voices to be heard on corporate boards, for women to have fair treatment. There's a thing that's some people may not even be aware of called pink tax. And it's just because the product is packaged for a woman, we end up paying more for it. Well, the National Association of Women Business Owners, also known as NAWBO, helps advocate to make things fair and equitable, and so that our voices are heard around the nation and around the world. It's an excellent group to be a part of, and if you are not, check it out. Visit NAWBO's website and become a premier member.
Okay, so I love the fact that you talked about that NAWBO was an advocacy group, and I think that that's the first place that we can implement and make changes through public policy. So also, tell me a little bit more about what certain services that you offer that could help women today in the climate that they're dealing with, trying to have it all, dealing with the pandemic, dealing with the social injustices within, the nation that we're dealing with. How do we as women handle that from a life coach, empowerment coach perspective?
Okay, well, from a life coach and empowerment perspective, I'm going to break this down into 3 segments. For divorce recovery, when you are going through a divorce, you're going through a grief process. So you have to understand that there are going to be feelings and emotions that you have that other people may not necessarily understand. So when you and I work together through that, I give you tools and tips that you can share with your employer and with your friends and family. For example, with divorce, in the corporate world, you don't get bereavement leave, but you are grieving. So you need to be able to effectively explain to your employer that you may need a couple of days off here and there to process this. Now, moving on to career crisis. With the pandemic and especially with the racial issues that are going on right now, sometimes you have a meeting that you need to prepare for, and there's something that you need to say. But you said it and you regret it and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I fix that? You and I can do one-on-one coaching to prepare you for your next presentation so that you are adequately prepared, you know what language to use and what you shouldn't use, and you are a lot more confident in that. For example, I'll give you a really quick example. We often hear the term field work. This person works in the field. That person works in the field. With this political climate and cultural climate, that might be a little not as friendly a term. Well, all you need to know is just to, instead of saying my field staff, say my community staff. Simple change changes the dynamic, but it makes it more pleasant and easy, more palatable. And then with moving forward in grief, understanding that grief is a process. We all take different measures, different ways to recover. Learning how you can turn that grief into something that you can control, that you have power of, and that you can turn it around and flip it. For example, when I lost my grandsons, I took my grief and I used that to empower me. They are the catalyst behind why Lynn and Company was launched, because they were such joyful young men. I wanted to take their joy and use it to help other people. And every time I help someone else, I feel such joy and satisfaction because I know they would be proud of their honey for doing what I do.
Okay, so I think that's really important, especially in the times that we're living in right now. I mean, so many people are, as a result of the, COVID-19, are dealing with grief and they're dealing with loss, and they have to deal with it differently than what they, maybe traditional loss looks like. They can't spend time with family members. People are, obviously spending more time together. So I think all of the services that you offer are extremely, extremely important. So, just for our audience, if we had, individuals that were looking to solicit your services and help them to develop their own personal roar story, tell me how that they can get in contact with you.
People can get in contact with me through multiple ways. I'm a social media mama. I am on Facebook at Lynn and Company. You can also reach me on Instagram at Lynn Company. I have a website. It's a fun website. I have blogs, tips, and tools there. That's Lynn, and you spell out and, company.org. If you need to send me an email, you can email me at lbutler, as in the butler did it, at lynnandcompany.org.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Lynn. It has been an honor and pleasure. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Today's Woman. I hope you found it informational and entertaining, and you contact Lynn to develop your own personal roar story. As a certified management and human resource consultant, my goal is to assist clients to reach their goals more efficiently and effectively by providing them the complete human resource infrastructure. Again, thank you for watching this episode of Today's Woman.
We come from every walk of life. We're proud of who we are and what we believe. We are among the 200,000 people who work for Bank of America. What would you like the power to do?
Meet Ricky. This is his neighborhood. Creating a brighter future for Ricky and many other kids like him starts with giving them a safe place to play. At Edison, we're partnering with the Trust for Public Lands and other nonprofits to build parks in our communities that need them. Life, powered by Edison.